Everybody, thank you for joining the ACA Small Business Bootcamp and Resource Collective for this Tuesday, December 7th. We're excited to have you with us today. This is our last week of boot camps for this calendar year, and we're excited about the boot camp sessions we have for you. So quick introduction, I'm Robert Theobald. I'm the Vice President of Small Business Services at the Arizona Commerce Authority and the State Small Business Ombudsman. And we like to start out these boot camps by first recognizing all of our community partners. We could not do these boot camp sessions without them, their time, their effort, and their expertise. So the Small Business Bootcamp was designed and started to help support businesses work through the COVID crisis and return stronger than ever. And as you saw from our community partner list, it is a statewide initiative supported by community partners from every corner of the state. And besides the webinars that we do every Tuesday and Thursday, at least for 2022 or 2021, it is also a resource collective and a content library. So let's talk about both of those real quick. So the Resource Collective is a website that we have set up, and you can find it on the Small Business Bootcamp homepage. You can find the link to it, but it contains additional tools and guides to help support small businesses. There's some business guidance, business essentials, some marketing information, and other items on there. And at the bottom of our bootcamp page, we have our small business content library, our archive section. And this content library is the result of recording all of our webinars for the past year and a half, or more than a year and a half. And so we have over 180 presentations from our bootcamp recorded and stored in the archive that you can access and go back and review at any time. There's no cost to review them. And you can identify different topics that you may have missed or want to go back and review, or share with others that you know that may be able to benefit from them. Additionally, the state has a couple websites that we want to talk about. The state itself put together the ArizonaTogether.org website to help with all things COVID-19, with information and resources. And then the Arizona Commerce Authority set up the COVID-19 Business Resources page at azcommerce.com/COVID-19. And that page has additional business guidance, financial information, information on grants and loans, and other business information that is valuable for any size business throughout Arizona. The Arizona Commerce Authority also has a number of programs that help support small businesses. We have our Small Business Services, our Workforce Division, and our Arizona MEP, our Manufacturing Extension Partnership. All these programs help support small businesses in various ways. And if you need some help in those categories, we can guide you to those resources and help you get the support that you need. Also, for those looking to start a business or expand their business, grow into a new city or a new category, we have our Small Business Checklist. And the Small Business Checklist is an online interactive tool that helps entrepreneurs understand the licensing, registration, and compliance needs at the local, state, and federal level. The checklist also contains information on business planning, business resources, marketing, procurement, opportunities, etc. It is a great tool to work through as you look at starting your business and growing your business. So with that, we want to jump into some small business updates. And so with these small business updates, we're going to post some information in the chat for all of them, some links to these different programs. But first, we want to mention that the Phoenix Biz Grants, this is a new grant program for the city of Phoenix for micro and small businesses. It just launched last week. We're very excited about it. So we want to make sure we get that information out. So if you know anybody has a business in Phoenix that's not on the call, make sure you get that information to them. The city of Goodyear also has some small business relief grants. And Maricopa County has their small business resilience program, which includes grants, a low interest loan, and technical assistance. And we're going to post information. That program is being run by both Local First and Prestamos CDFI for the county. And then we're going to share a link with an article that I found that has some good links to other grants and other programs that may be of interest to small business owners. So with that, we want to jump into the upcoming sessions. So this week we have our 2021 end of year checklist today. And then on Thursday, the basics of bookkeeping, which is a really good presentation. Then we're going to take some time off for Christmas and the new year. And we're going to come back on Tuesday, January 4th, and start off the new year with SMART goal planning for a successful 2022. We want to kick the year off right, and this is going to be a great presentation to do so. We are changing things up a little bit in 2022. We are going to do boot camp webinars every Tuesday at 9 a.m. And then throughout the month, at least once a month, if not more often, we're going to have some workshops that will be either in person, hybrid, or virtual, working with a number of different community partners. So we're real excited about the format for 2022, but we are still keeping the boot camps, and you can join us every Tuesday morning throughout 2022 for those. But we want to finish the year right, so we've got today's session. So we're going to turn the time over to our expert team. We have Rich Chanik, Gina Couillard, and Ruth Ellen Olinsky. All three are SBDC Center Directors from their respective areas. Rich from the Northland Pioneer College in Northeastern Arizona, Gina at Coconino Community College in Flagstaff in Northern Arizona, and Ruth Ellen Olinsky covers the Yavapai College SBDC for Yavapai County. So with that, we're going to go ahead and turn the time over to our SBDC expert team. They've all been with us before, and we're excited to have them back. So Gina, we'll go ahead and turn the time over to you.
Thank you, guys. So I just want to start off by sharing my screen and then allowing my team to introduce themselves. So my name is Gina Couillard. I'm the director of the Small Business Development Center in Coconino County. So thank you so much for joining us today. Rich, I'll hand it over to you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Rich Chanik, and we're in Northeastern Arizona in Apache County and Navajo County. And just a quick word about how these got started. The three of us across Northern Arizona here have a largely rural area. And we found that we could take a topic such as bookkeeping, and each of us bring individual kinds of viewpoints into it to hopefully provide a better seminar for you. So that is why it is kind of unusual that three of us would get together and do this, but we've been doing it now successfully, and so we are excited about being able to present again. If you were in Navajo County or Apache County, we would love to talk with you. We are in Sholo is where our office is, but we travel throughout that region. We have people, as a matter of fact, going up to the reservation tomorrow and down as far as Greer today. So we travel a lot, and we're anxious to help. Thanks, Gina.
Ruth Ellen.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Ruth Ellen Olinsky. I'm the Center Director for the Small Business Development Center at Yavapai College. And similar to what Rich just said, we cover rural communities across our county. We have offices based in the Verde Valley as well as the Quad Cities. So if you are a business owner or business manager in our region, feel free to reach out and connect with us. We have a strong team here in Yavapai, and we're happy to address any issues you have. Thank you.
And lastly, again, my name is Gina Couillard, and I'm the Center Director for the Coconino Community College SBDC. And our center covers all of Coconino County. We have business analysts here located in Flagstaff, as well as representation in Page. And I'll just second everything that my colleague said. We're here to serve you, so please reach out to us if we can be assistance. So with that, let's get started and talking about year-end ready for small business. Before we start, let's talk about what the SBDC is. So we are part of a national network. There's 10 centers throughout the state, all hosted by community colleges. We help everyone who is either planning to start a business or operating a business. We work with industries in every size. We're Arizona's largest and most accessible statewide network for small business services, and opened our doors in 1988. If you need additional information, you can contact us at the link that's on the right of the page, which is www.azsbdc.net. And that will give you the opportunity to connect with any of our centers throughout the state, depending on your geographic location. The SBDCs offer no cost confidential business counseling. We offer no cost to low cost seminars and training, a new business checklist. We can help you with obtaining capital government contracting, if you have PPP forgiveness, if you need help applying for an EIDL, which you need to do by December 31st, and we can help you with that and so much more. So let's dig in today and discuss some ways that you can help your small business get year-end ready. So today we are going to discuss 5 major categories, and those topics for discussion are accounting, IT, human resource, general business, and then my favorite, looking ahead. I know when I was a small business owner, this time of year was usually met with dread for me, like, oh, I got to get all the forms ready for taxes. I've got to do all of these things. And I really want to tell you that all of these exercises are like building a muscle. The more that you can make things routine, the simpler that you can make those routines, the easier it's going to be for you to manage these tasks. If you partner this webinar today in conjunction with the one that will be offered on Thursday on basic bookkeeping, it's really going to help your business set up those foundations to prepare you for the new year. So let's get started on our accounting section. So we're going to look at 4 areas in accounting to help your business get ready for the new year. And those are financial statements, analyzing your cash flow, your payables and receivables, and then lastly, payroll and taxes. So one of the most important things that you can do to maintain your operations and your business and profitability is really getting to know those financial statements. I suggest running them more than once a year. You know, some of your businesses, especially restaurants or maybe retail stores, maybe you need to look at your profitability by the hour. I looked at mine by the day at the very least, but you know, run your P&L by the week, by the job, whatever. Your income statement or your profit and loss should be a report that you become very intimate with. This report shows your revenues and expenses during a particular period. Now, by learning how to read this report and really getting to know the information that's contained in this report is going to help you spot trends in your business. So either peak seasons or slow seasons, and it's really going to help you forecast that next year that you're looking at. Another report that you're going to need to run is your balance sheet. And your balance sheet summarizes your company's assets, so everything you own, your liabilities, so everything you owe, and then your owner's equity in the firm, which is your stake, right, in your company. Now, when you're looking at your balance sheet and you're comparing it to last year, so have there been changes in your inventory? Has your inventory decreased? So this would be a reduction in your asset. Did you borrow money? So an EIDL loan or something like that, which would be an increase in your liabilities. So you should be able to look at this sheet and compare it to your last year's statement and really get a gauge if it's making sense to what happened overall in your business. And the last one, which is super important, is a cash flow statement. Your cash flow statement summarizes your cash entering and leaving a company. So, you know, many of you know that as business owners, sometimes we all struggle with cash flow. You know, you've done a big job, you build a big job, but those receivables just haven't come in. And so learning how to manage and predict cash flow is one of the biggest skills a company can have in managing their financials. So let's talk about your cash flow statement. So your cash flow statement, right, shows your cash flow, which is your income, and it also shows your cash outflow, which is your expenses. So simple goal, right? We want to earn more than we spend. And that's easy to say, but sometimes hard to do. If you do not know how to prepare a cash flow statement, there's a couple of tricks or tips that may help you in running your business to navigate this process. One is you can reach out to any of your local SBDCs and they can help you prepare a cash flow statement and really start projecting your business and your financials for those peaks and valleys. But for those of you who are using some of the more advanced QuickBooks Online, and those QuickBooks does have a service that will help you and do a cash flow projecting tool. And, you know, if your business isn't super volatile and those kinds of things, it does a pretty good job, but you're still going to have that human touch to really look in and see if there's outside influences that may be affecting your business that may impact your cash. So again, you can reach out to your SBDC. They have resources that can help you in analyzing and projecting your cash flow. The next thing we're going to talk about is accounts payables and accounts receivables. This is a really, really big area. I know many of us don't enjoy calling someone and saying, hey, you owe me money. But getting a handle on your receivables is a crucial part of your business. So at the end of the year, you need to review what you owe and who owes you. I would recommend doing this at least monthly. You know, what you owe may not change that much, but who owes you may change drastically from month to month. And so having a handle on those receivables and when you're going to collect those receivables is key to ensuring your company's financial success. It's great. It's a great idea and good practice for you to collect on outstanding accounts receivable before year end. Again, I would try and do this monthly. One of the best things that you can do as companies is to have established collection policies to reduce your aged receivables. I ran a collections department for over 20 years, and I always told people that the best place to start in your collection is in the sale. You know, your customers need to know when their payment's expected, when it's due. All of this needs to be transparent and communicated to them. And that really does help your enforcement kind of on the back end. You'll want to pay any outstanding bills that you're able to before year end. And then lastly, write off aged invoices that will most likely not get paid. Now, as you start to really caress and massage your accounts payables and receivables, and you get a better handle on how to manage this section of your business, the hope is that you're not going to have as many invoices that need to be written off at year end. So let's look at our next slide, which is payroll. One of the biggest areas that you need to focus on in preparing your business for year end is payroll. Make sure that all corrections to employees' pay are made. Are there any errors that are outstanding? Any corrections that need to be amended before the payroll at the end of the year is processed? Review all their taxable fringe benefits, such as third-party sick, company car, or any of those kinds of things. Make sure they're all accounted for. And then other categories you may want to review are educational reimbursements, health and life insurance, and any transportation subsidies. Now, the transportation subsidies probably don't matter so much to those in the rural communities, but those of you in the metro area, this may be a bigger thing. So just take time, make sure that you know your payroll accounts are all balancing, that everything's looking great, so that as you move into that period of getting ready to prepare your 1099s and W-2s, that you have everything in a good place and you're ready to process those requirements. So next, let's go to IT. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about backing up data and record retention. Now, as you may know, and you hear this all the time, right, is people have lost their data, haven't backed it up. So as a business owner, this is a really good time for you just to take a look and to create and implement backup schedules for your important data. Backup and update your contacts also. You know, are there operational things that you can handle? Can you create email lists? So instead of typing in names all the time, you're creating groups. And lastly, make sure you have the most up-to-date information for your most important business contacts. This could actually tie back into your receivables and your payables. You know, do you have everyone's correct mailing address, their correct bank information, their correct telephone numbers, how much time are you wasting throughout the year and operationally because you don't have the most up-to-date data. So just take a little bit of time, refresh all your contacts, and make sure that you're on solid footing moving into the new year. The next one is record retention. I mean, I still have boxes of papers from when I had my businesses, and this is the year I get to get rid of them, so I'm very excited. But, whenever it comes to record retention, I always recommend a 2-to-1 policy. So especially for those important documents, financial documents, sales tax records, those kinds of things, create 2 separate digital copies and stored in 2 different locations, and then have 1 offline copy. I know I'm really old school, but I really like that paper copy. And then the next thing on this tab is it's important for you to have a record retention policy. When do you destroy those old records? So the IRS says to keep property records until the limitation period expires for the year you dispose of the property. You can go on the IRS website. It outlines all of this for you. And then another thing that I want to just highlight for you, especially those of you who are caring for sensitive information for your clients, make sure that the privacy right guidelines are followed for personal information when you destruct property or someone's personal information. So this is just a really good time for you to set those policies, those procedures, and those systems up in place of how you record and store your records. The next section we're going to go into is human resources. And this is a big one for so many of you guys with the staffing shortages and just the temperature of our world today. So we're going to look at reviewing your staffing needs, celebrating accomplishments, year-end incentives, and policies and procedures. So when we think about reviewing staffing needs, and I can hear some of you laughing right now, right? And you're like, I just need people. And I get that. And so we're going to talk about maybe some creative ways that you can look at staffing your teams, filling those open positions. So the first thing you need to do, right, is take inventory of your team. What assets and resources do you have? Do you have people that have been there a long time? Do they have extra capacity? What holes do you need to fill on your staff? Next, I would suggest get creative with your recruitment. Maybe you need to add or modify employee referral programs. Do you have star employees who have friends or neighbors or someone who they may be able to refer to your organization? And another part of this process is to shorten the recruitment process. I have an individual who's been waiting right now that I know of over 3 weeks for their written formal offer. So just make sure that you've shortened your recruitment process, that you've made it as easy as possible for people to join your firm. Do you have the opportunity to trim any of the fat from administrative tasks? Can you streamline any of those operations? Another thing that you may consider is to consider lowering qualification and credential requirements. I know some of you, that's not an opportunity, especially if you're bound by requirements from state or federal authorities, but there may be some positions in your company that you can actually skill or reskill employees to take on those roles. And then in terms of your current workforce, can you reskill them? Can you upskill them? Are there opportunities for advancement for the employees that you already have? Especially those good employees that you really want to retain. And then lastly, maybe this is the time that your company needs to invest in technology or automation or skills training. Maybe some of those tasks that are being performed by people that are really mundane and cumbersome can be replaced with some type of automation, sorry guys, to reduce that labor need for your firm. So I really think in today's environment, that it's important that we as business owners celebrate accomplishments. The demands and the needs of our labor force have changed more in probably the last 2 years than they have in the last 30. So it's important as business owners that we know how to engage them and make them feel valued. There's some really simple things. The first is to say thank you. Another thing that you may do to help your staff or celebrate accomplishments is invest in the best equipment. You can honor your employees publicly, your Facebook, social media pages, these types of things. Celebrate the wins within your organization. A lot of studies have shown over the last couple of years that employees are demanding more work flexibility. Do you have the opportunity to let them choose hours? Do you have the opportunity to let them remote work? Adding that work flexibility is going to be key in having employers retain that staffing moving forward. One of the ones I love is let them discard a project. If you have an employee and you can't retain or, compensate them financially or do something like this, maybe let them throw away a project that they don't like working on. Highlight and reward positivity in your culture, encourage community service, and lastly, ask them what they would like. I read an article the other day and it was super interesting. And I wish I would have saved it, but it's talked about companies that are doing onboarding interviews of what the company expects from the job, or their employer or their team leads are way more successful in retaining employees than people who don't perform this. So maybe as you start, ask them, or as this employee starts, ask them what they want from you and how you can serve them. So you're making sure that you cultivate and keep that employee for the long haul. So year-end incentives, and this is a big one, right? I mean, so many people right now are having to pay for sign-on bonuses and all of those kinds of things. And it's really creating a disparity between their current workforce and the workforce they're hiring. So this may be a really great time of year for you to evaluate whether or not you want to offer a year-end incentive for your employee. And maybe you're not able to financially, but maybe you can give an extra, some paid time off, maybe Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve. You can offer some kind of flexible schedule where they work from home on Friday. And then lastly, the last one is monetary incentives. People love to be valued and recognized, and the incentives always don't have to come in financial terms. So get creative. The last one is policies and procedures. And I know none of us, especially me, is like, hey, let me work up today and write some policies and procedures. It's a pretty mundane task. But for those of you who don't have policies and procedures, I would strongly encourage you to write them. This is one of the biggest areas of improvement that I see in most of the businesses I counsel, especially businesses who are really starting to scale and reach that next level. Your policies and procedures outline so much. They detail your mission, vision, and values. They really create that company culture and that foundation of what you're trying to create. Additionally, it communicates your company policy and expectations, and this can both be internal and external. Do you have a refund policy, an exchange policy, a no-show policy? Having these these policies in writing really not only help you engage with your employees, but the community you serve, and allows the client to know what kind of relationship they're going to have with you when they engage you. Having an established policy and procedure manual ensures consistent enforcement of company policies. Again, you have that document to reference. It sets expectations for employee conduct and performance. It addresses your employees' expectations. It minimizes risk. Your company policy helps you talk about sexual harassment, diversity, equal opportunity. If there's an accident, what happens in any of those things, and really highlights and allows you as the business owner to identify if there's areas of concern that you need to address. And lastly, it helps minimize conflict between the employer and the employee, but also just employee to employee relations. Many of your SBDCs have, resources that they can help you with these kinds of things. So please don't hesitate to reach out to our network so that our team can help you, as you begin this policy and procedure journey. It's not super fun, but I guarantee it's very rewarding. So the next comment or topic that we're going to talk about is just general business. So we're going to look at inventory, updating your goals, and auditing your website. Now, all of you guys may not have inventory. You may be a service-based business where this wouldn't be applicable to you. So that's okay. But for those of you guys who do have a hard inventory business, it's going to be important for you to close out your year and do an audit of your inventory as close to your year end as possible. If you notice a significant discrepancy, it's a very good idea to investigate. Now, you may be able to do an inventory monthly. You may be able to do an inventory quarterly. Our bookkeeping webinar later on this week kind of talks about implementing some of these policies and structures into your business that make it a little bit easier. Now, nodding back to our policies and procedures, it's important as your business to make sure that your inventory procedures are clearly documented and how theft is addressed. And then especially if you have, lots of inventory, consider making the switch to an accounting system or a point of sale system to automate your inventory. Again, this, not only helps with your financial records, but maybe those labor issues and shortages that you're having. By doing this heavy lift at the beginning, it can really reduce some of those redundancies on the back end. So super important to inventory your goods at the end of the year. Now, as we get in and we're kind of talking about those general business things, we're going to start making goals, right? And we want to make goals to really start looking into that next year. And we've all heard about SMART goals, right? But I really want you to think about smarter goals. So what are smarter goals? Your smarter goals are specific. So I want to reduce discrepancy in my inventory, maybe one. Measurable, how are you going to measure that? We're going to measure our inventory once a quarter. Are they attainable? Yes, by ensuring that we're measuring and having better policies and procedures. Are they relevant? Yes, reducing inventory theft or mismanagement affects our bottom line. Time bound, we're going to do it once a quarter, once a month, once a year. Exciting. Managing inventory for most people isn't super exciting, but seeing that return on your bottom line, I guarantee probably makes most of you pretty excited. And then the last one is routine bound. So, it's really important as we work on these goals that this isn't a one and done. As business owners, we have to exercise those muscles that make us successful. And a lot of those are sustainability, right? Are we doing these processes and things in a manner that's ensuring that our business is successful and that we're having correct data to make decisions? For me, one of the biggest things about smarter goals is they have to be exciting. I have to be passionate about something to really work hard at it. So as part of the exciting part of this, I would suggest you give yourself a reward or your team a reward, or, sign up some kind of goal. I think that challenging people and making them games often makes it way more fun. Next on our list is to review progress on your goals. Set aside time every quarter, every 6 months, every month, every year to really review where you are on those goals. Do you need to tweak something? Do you need to order more inventory? Do you need to run your line of credit a little tighter? What do you need to do to achieve these goals? And the last one on this list, and I tell people all the time, is create goals that can be achieved with a partner. So I always had a partner in my business, and it was actually my biggest competitor. And her and I just challenged each other all the time to be better. She's still such a dear friend. But create goals in your business that you can do with someone else, so it doesn't make it so horrible. If you have another business owner friend and you'll both need to write policies and procedures, sit down and do it together, and then take a hike. Creating goals and having someone to help you be accountable, and that could be your SBDC too, I find leads to bigger success. The last thing in terms of review and audit and all those kinds of things is, oh, and I have an error, this should be website. So we want to look at your website. So is your website, doing a performance optimization, allows you to inspect the robustness of your technical framework of your website? Is it working? Do you have all the content that you want on there? Reviewing your the effectiveness of your search engine optimization. By pulling the data and analytics from here, you can see what people are searching, what words you may need to have. The next on this list is our conversion rate optimization. How many people are converting when they visit your website? Do you need to look at different landing pages or conversion tactics to really turn those people who are visiting your site into money in your pocket? The next thing on here is to identify and correct issues. Are all of your links working? Are they taking them to the right things? Is all of this information correct? And if it's not, take this time to correct it. Make sure that your website's up and operational, and so that you can really move into this next year on solid footing. And then the last one is to assess your website content. Has your product offering changed? Is your pictures correct? Are your team members who are listed, are those correct? So really spend some time crafting your image and about what you want to say moving into the next year. And the last one in this set of series is looking ahead. I think that this time of year should be one that's filled with hope. So many of us started our business for a reason, and it wasn't always about money. Maybe we wanted to improve the life of others. Maybe we wanted to be able to support someone in our family. I think this last couple years has been really trying on those of you who are entrepreneurs, and it's easy to get disheartened and frustrated. But I think taking this time to really evaluate yourself and center yourself on what your why is, I think helps you set a solid foundation moving forward. For those of you guys who haven't listened to Simon Sinek, one of his conferences really changed my why, or my outlook. And one of his talks is on what's your why. And it really helped me put in perspective how I was managing my time, how I was doing things. And when I lead my decisions with my why, it helped frame so many things in my professional life. So I would encourage and challenge each of you to spend a little bit of time on your why. And in closing, I challenge you also to create a culture around your why. Why are you serving the clients? Why are you there? Why are you doing what you're doing? Set goals that support that, that support your value and your culture. It's important to be honest with yourself. Maybe you need to hold yourself as a leader accountable for some of the operational things in your organization. Maybe there's changes that you need to make within yourself. I think it's important as you begin your business and really evaluate and set that why foundation that you know what your top priority is. Is it saving for retirement? Is it increasing profitability? Is it maintaining your staff? What is your top priority for this year? One that I struggle with myself all the time is learning to say no. And it is a full sentence. But learn to say no to the things that don't suit you or serve you or help strengthen your business. Celebrate your successes and acknowledge failures. It's okay, I've failed way more than I've ever succeeded, but acknowledge those and move on and help them frame your decisions for success moving forward. And lastly, I think you should always have fun. I think that laughter and fun and lightheartedness and bringing that to your business and to your work and the way you engage people makes you likable, makes your dreams so much easier of achieving. So have fun and plan for fun and use that in your business. So in closing, I want to open it up for any questions, but also I wanted to provide the contact information for myself, for Ruth Ellen, and for Rich. Thank you so much for having us today. It's been an honor and a privilege. And the link to register for any of the services at the SBDC through centers throughout the state is on the bottom left of your screen. So with that, I'll open it for questions. Thank you so much for being here.
Excellent. Thank you. Great presentation, Gina. I appreciate you coming on, and Ruth Ellen and Rich. So if you have questions, please post them in the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. And we have some time for questions. So please bring some of those up. Again, Gina, Rich, and Ruth Ellen are here to answer those. So we have one from Elaine O'Connor. Says, what timeline do you follow to execute the year-end steps that were discussed today?
So I usually tell people in terms of preparing for year end is that I usually say start about of October. Now, some of you who are really busy this time of year, that's difficult for you to do. And so maybe your slow seasons in the summer, but there's a lot of this stuff, especially start thinking about your goals and those forward thinking things a couple months before the year end, because you really want to a game plan in place by January 1 to start. Now, some of the, financial pieces in terms of your inventory, that would be as close to year end as possible. Your financial reports would be when you close for the year. So, it's kind of ongoing for a lot of these things. I hope that answered your question.
Just real quick, Gina, I would add to that we're doing year-end stuff, but the sales function and the production functions and stuff still go on. And December is frankly a wonderful time to get out and get in front of your clients with a mug or something, a mug full of candy, all of that sort of thing. So I would put some of those things that I have put some of those things that you can do a little earlier. You're right, into October. I mean, you tend to think year-end stuff starts in December, but there's some real good sales opportunities in December. So I agree that let's get it started in October if we can.
Yeah, one of the things I like with Gina, you mentioned for some people their slow period might be in the summer, is your year end, even though there's a hard calendar stop at the end of the year for many businesses, your year end might be the summer. And so it's one of those things, as you calendar, get your calendar out, create that year-long game plan. You can pre-plan when you're going to have those periods, when you need to start planning different things, and set up those routines. So then when you get to your busy season, if the holidays now is your busy season, you've already got structures in place to make it go seamless.
So an example of that, Robert, is in my business, I had about 1,200 clients on my books, and every July, which was my slowest month, we had a client appreciation party. I brought in dinner, fed everyone, did all of that. We just got to spend time with them. And it ended up every year turning my July into one of my busiest months, just by shifting up that focus from the holidays, right, to my summer months. So I agree, capitalizing on that is huge.
All right, what other questions you guys have out there that are attending? We have some time. We're not opposed to giving you some time back in your day, but we have this great team here, so we want to leverage their time and their efforts. So please ask some questions. So looking ahead to year end, what are some benefits on their businesses getting their taxes done early, as opposed to waiting till the mad rush at the end of the, when taxes are due in April or May or June?
Peace of mind, right? Yeah, peace of mind. And I know if you're facing that category, right, where you may be owing money or any of those kinds of things, you're like, I don't want to be first in line. Been there. But just getting it up and out of the way is great.
And Robert, the thing that we run into all of the time, the three of us, is that somebody wants to sell their business, but for the past 10 years, they have made their life about minimizing taxes. And so they have no profitability to be able to show when they're trying to sell a business, so that the person buying can't really even go in and get a loan on it. And so, when you're talking about collections and that sort of stuff, you have an ability, especially on a cash basis, to be able to figure out, you know, the profitability, the final profitability of your company at the end of the year. And so, you know, looking at that early and not just considering, do I want to minimize taxes, is probably a better way to go about it.
Rich, you brought up a good point. You know, for some of the folks out there might be thinking, hey, you know what? The pandemic's been crazy. 2021's almost over. I'm going to sell my business next year. If you're looking at selling your business, please reach out to the SBDCs, get a game plan, because you're right. I've seen that in previous positions I've held where the small business owners have been trying to minimize their taxes for years, and it really kills the value of their company when they want to go to sell it. So if you're looking at selling your company, have a succession plan, have a game plan out there to make sure you're working with your accountant and SBDC to maximize the value that it'll be worth when you go to sell it. We have a good question that popped up in the chat. Gina says, what accounting software might you recommend for a small nonprofit?
So QuickBooks makes a nonprofit accounting software for nonprofits. I haven't used it. The nonprofits that I worked with were small enough that we just tracked the funds on a spreadsheet. So it would depend on the size of your organization. We just, on the spreadsheet, we just tracked the restricted and non-restricted and temporarily restricted funds on a spreadsheet, and then calculated the gains on those and had those as part of our financial packet. So I hope that helps. Ruth Ellen, I know you have more nonprofit experience. Can you maybe speak to that?
Yeah, well, I use QuickBooks as a nonprofit director, but I agree with Gina in that if it's really small, you could probably track most things through just an Excel spreadsheet and have it ready to go for your final year-end taxes for that.
Great response. Thank you. We have one other question that says, would like to find a small business CPA. I don't think they finished their question. That doesn't cost so much. Last one I checked was $500. So any feedback you can give to someone looking for a small business CPA, and maybe 500 is normal, maybe that's cheap from what you've seen. So any feedback on that would be great.
I think depending on, oh, go ahead, Rich.
I just want to pitch our seminar on Thursday, because that's one of the issues that we're absolutely going to talk about is that do you need a bookkeeper? Do you need an accountant? Do you need a CPA? And so, you know, I mean, I would take one step back from the question first, and that is, do I need a CPA, or do I need an accountant, or do I need a bookkeeper? Because rightfully so, you're going to pay for that 3-letter designation at the end. And if you are a large corporation and you need that kind of credentialing and you need that kind of expertise, that's terrific. If you don't, there's some very qualified accounting people out there and bookkeeping people that are frankly cheaper.
And Christine asked that question, and she had mentioned in there that she was from Apache Junction. Christine, the SBDC that covers Apache Junction is a Central Arizona College SBDC, and the analyst that covers that area, his name is Paul Vukalis. He's actually experienced in that category and can give you some good information. I highly encourage you to reach out to the Central Arizona College Small Business Development Center and request for a meeting with Paul.
And for others who are seeking, most centers have kind of a short list of resources in that space and can share a short list of recommendations. So reach out to the center in your area if you're also seeking accounting or CPA support.
Excellent. Well, let's see. We got another question popped up in there. There's a thank you. So thanks for asking the questions, Christine. We appreciate those. And with that, we don't have any other questions, so we will go ahead and give everybody about 10 minutes back in their day, or get ready for the next webinar. If you're at another webinar at 10 o'clock, who knows? But we want to thank everybody for attending and being here with us today. We want to really thank Gina, Rich, and Ruth Ellen for being our presenters today, and they will be with us again on Thursday. The presentation on Thursday is awesome as well. They've done it before in the past. I've heard it, and that's why I asked them to do it again, because they do a great job with it. So we're excited to have them back with us on Thursday. Thursday's session will be the last session of 2021. So we're excited to finish off with a great team. So please join us. I know early in the chat, we posted the link to register for that if you have not registered. So again, thank you for being with us today. We look forward to seeing you on Thursday. Everybody have a great day.
Guys,
Hi, everyone.
bye, everyone.